Hey everyone, I have a lot to talk about today. There's so much going on. I was trying to make a video, but I decided it would be better to get together right here in live. And of course, this video will be posted later for everybody to watch, see, and hear. But I feel like it's easier for me to do this live instead of editing and putting out there. By the time you get this news, it's going to be tomorrow. So this world is moving faster than we've ever seen before. Catching up with this is going to be a little bit hard, but I have my notes. I've been up for a few hours and have everything set up for you. So this is going to be, let's say, 5 to 7 minutes of everything that's going on right now that you need to know about as far as Russia, Ukraine, the stock market, and whatnot. And at the end of this, when we're done, I'm going to take some questions from you guys, from the comments. But just bear with me while I go through the initial kind of notes that I have about this. So first of all, there's some big updates out of Russia. Apparently, the Russian ruble plunges to a new record low. Believe it or not, after this recent wave of sanctions that only seems to be getting worse by the minute, just dropped 25%. It's about 105 rubles per dollar. From my friends in Russia, I can tell you 100% that bank ATMs are almost not working. Very hard to find an ATM that actually works. So people are trying to get cash out because nobody accepts credit cards. Apple Pay is not working. So people are rushing for the cash machines and they don't pretty much work anymore. Very few that do. Apple Pay doesn't work. I just mentioned it before. Basically, the Russian economy is going down the toilet. Putin obviously won't care. And even though China might take a little bit of the pain off, it's not going to be enough to replace European money. I mean, European money is pretty much 40% of the Russian budget. That's Russian energy sales to Europe. It's going to be very hard to replace. In fact, these latest sanctions kind of turned Russia to unbankable now, I guess, the right term. Not only that, logistically, being in Russia right now is living hell. UPS, FedEx not delivering to Russia until further notice. The European Union just announced their skies are closed to Russian airliners. BP just announced that they're basically abandoning a 20% stake in Rosneft. Now, I don't know exactly what it means that they're abandoning it. I'm assuming they're going to sell it, but basically they're getting out of Russia. There's also a very interesting article by Steve Hanke, an economist from Johns Hopkins. Basically, he just said that the recent 2 days, the turmoil that happened in Russia is going to effectively spike Russian inflation to 70%, almost 70% on a year to year basis as it stands today. So Russia is through some serious pain. Obviously, it's not going to be good for poor people, but politicians, not only in Russia, politicians usually don't care about the suffering of the poor guy. So it's not going to stop Putin, but it's going to be very hard for ordinary Russians that probably most likely don't even support this war. We do on your screen right now. You can see oil is shooting up again. Crude oil is back up to around 95, give or take, based on Russia fears. Russia is a major oil supplier. They're not the biggest one. Russia exports about 4 to 5 million barrels per day, which is like 1/10 of the global oil supply. It's massive, but it's not like cataclysmic. Still, a big chunk of oil that's now in question. On gas, they're way more substantiated. On gas, they provide 40% of Europe's gas, which is a big deal. So we're going to see some spikes there as well. Now, on the good note, I guess if there's a good note here, I don't know if there's a good note here, but I think you remember the famous song by Edwin Starr, "War, what is it good for?" I mean, I'm guessing the dude didn't have military stocks because those are flying through the roof. The merchants of war are basically enjoying what Olaf Scholz, the Chancellor of Germany, said Friday. Basically, he said, "Hey, we're going to put $110 billion this year into our military spending, which is double than what they usually spend in the regular year. And from now on, going forward, 2% of our GDP is going to go to military. For a country like Germany, that's a lot. That's like a 35% increase of the usual military spending. I'm assuming other EU countries will follow as everybody scrambles to kind of remedy the underspending that they had over the past 20 years. I mean, companies like Lockheed are going to make a lot of money. Raytheon, GD, um, uh, even Palantir is on that list. Believe it or not, up I think 2% pre-market. We're going to take a look at it in a second. Speaking of Palantir, it seems like Alex Karp was 100% right. Palantir is slowly becoming one of the most important software companies in the world as it stands with this conflict. Everything he said about the chaotic world, the adversarial nature of the forces of democracy and freedom versus the evils are now happening. And so, on the one hand, Palantir is basically enjoying the rise in the military stocks because they're a massive military supplier. On the other hand, they're pretty much riding the high of the Dan Ives note from Wedbush, basically saying, hey, cybersecurity is going to be huge right now. And just from Thursday, Palantir went up from 9.8 to $12, almost $12 today. It's like a 20% rise in a single day or a day and a half. Now, I don't know if this is sustainable, and I don't know if the stock goes to $7 or $77. I don't care. It's honestly just interesting to see how Alex was right in his prediction that Palantir is going to play a major role in whatever it is the world is becoming right now. I do have some updates. So I have friends in Belarus. Apparently, the whole Belarus draft to join the war in Ukraine is real. It seems it's not officially confirmed, but I did speak to some people on the ground. It seems that the Belarus is going in on it. Not good news for Belarus. I mean, their military is even worse than Putin's, and Putin's just got exposed. Just more 18-year-old kids going through the meat grinder of warmongering dictators. Very, very sad. Putin, by the way, seems to be very frustrated by the lack of progress. Even though he tried to throw in the Chechen army to an extent, it didn't really work. Now the Belarusian draft, I'm assuming, is not going to work. His latest nuclear threat that he just voiced with the whole nuclear stuff, raising nuclear alert, is just a sign that he's getting frustrated. It's essentially a sign for NATO, hey, back off, because he's getting exposed right now on the military front. He's basically telling, hey, NATO, back off. I still have nukes. Even though I'm getting exposed on the battlefield, you still can't touch me. Yep. So that's kind of my recap over the past. I don't know how much long this took. I have no idea. Let me try and see. This probably took what, like a few minutes? A good few minutes? How long were we on? I don't know. Whatever it is. I think like yeah, 5 minutes, 6 minutes. Good. So now questions. And this is the end of the video. From this point on, just questions from the chat. Uh, Thank you, Adam Bergman, for the $10 super chat. Tom, I appreciate you. Thank you for that. I appreciate you as well. I love the content. Support Brighton Beach. Let's go, Palantir. Let's stop this war. Thank you for your no BS videos. I really agree with what you said here. I mean, there's literally, guys, this is something that you don't know probably, um, but there's 6,000 people been arrested in Russia for protesting against this war. Imagine, you're going out to protest against this war, and you're most likely will get beat up, arrested, or maybe even both quite severely, and you're still going out to protest against a tyrant. You have to appreciate the people who are risking their lives literally in Russia right now to protest. There's 6,000 brave mother lovers. I want to give you a few shout outs here. To people who are in the chat and take some questions. Okay. Kioni says 7 minutes. We got it. We got it right. I want it to be a quick video. I don't want to be on for hours and hours and hours. That's not the point. Um, yeah, this is also actually news that I didn't cover, and this is 100% correct. I saw this on the news as well. Belarus is changing constitution basically to allow Russian nukes to be placed on its sovereign territory. I guess the question of the sovereignty of Belarus, it's an interesting question. Not sure how to answer that at this point. I think everybody knows. Um, okay, what else here? Tom, who dyes your hair? Who does your? It's fabulous. It's just natural. I don't do nothing with it. That's how I wake up. I kid you not. Okay, so this is a very interesting question by Anil D'Souza. Should Russia back off? Will the sanctions be reversed? By the way, I hope you're joining me with this morning's tea or coffee, whatever it is, chai on my end. Hey, comment below what you guys drinking this morning. So, should Russia back off? Will the sanctions be reversed? Yes, but Russia will not back off, and I'll explain why, Anil. The problem with what Russia is doing right now, it's part of a bigger master plan, and I've spoke about this earlier. So you have to understand that Putin didn't select this timing accidentally. He selected this timing because he's looking at a very divided United States and a very inflation hit US. Basically, the US is dealing with inflation. They're dealing with an internal debate of the identity of the US going forward. And the worst thing they want right now is either a war or another energy crisis. So if you go to war with Russia, you almost guaranteed an energy crisis and a spike in energy prices. So he basically assumed with how bad inflation is, they can't afford to go to war with me. So he underestimated the West's resolve, I think, in this case. And his master plan is very simple. And you might say, well, Putin is getting exposed on battlefield, right? And his soldiers are getting shellacked by these partisans out of the woods in Ukraine, which is pretty much their army. And well, that means that he's basically lost. The thing with Putin, you have to understand that he doesn't really care about that. He would love to conquer Ukraine much faster, but it doesn't really matter because nobody can get involved. Ask yourself this question: why is none of the Western countries are getting involved in this? Well, that's because he has nukes. You don't want to go to war with a nuclear superpower. Okay. So once, assuming he takes Ukraine, and I hope to God he doesn't, his next target is going to be Moldova, non-NATO country, which I assume the West will, if Ukraine is any evidence, will probably be the same. And Moldova, I don't know if they can hold up like Ukraine. And then basically, he'll go and eye the non-NATO countries like the Uzbekistan's, Kazakhstan's, all these other former Russian republics. And then I think was going to be very interesting. I think he's going to make a play to test NATO because NATO is a concept. If you look at how much troops NATO has in Europe, thousands. It's not a big, it's not a big organization as far as troops on the ground right now. It's a concept. The concept basically says we have Section 5 to our agreement, to our treaty, that says any attack on a single member of NATO is an attack on everybody, and everybody has to respond. That's a concept. So when he goes for like one of the former Soviet countries, and like in Estonia, I don't know, somebody up there, I think that's going to be the big test for NATO because they'll have to calculate: do we want to go to potentially a nuclear war with him, or do we let him have another country? I think that's going to be a really big test for NATO. I hope to God they stand up to him. But that's kind of my take on this. Yeah, he's a very dangerous man. That's why his latest threats about oh, I'm rating up the nuclear readiness, blah blah blah, it's just a signal to the West, basically. Hey, I'm crazy. Hold me. I'm crazy. I have nukes. You don't want to go to war with me. Uh, Farfan, thank you for the €2 donations. Greetings from Germany. Stay strong, Ukraine. Yeah, Farfan, greetings to you as well. Germany is going through some crazy changes right now. We've been seeing and like Germany is probably the biggest spender in the EU for military, and they just went through this a crazy ramp up, doubling spending this year and 35% increase going forward. I'm assuming other EU countries will follow. I think it's about time. It's about time with the threats that they're facing. I think it's time. Thank you, FC from Germany as well. Shout out to all my German brothers. Germany really pulled through here because you have to understand that for Germany to say, hey, we're cutting off certain Russian banks from SWIFT, we're basically telling Putin to F himself. And it's a huge risk for Germany to send military equipment to Ukraine. It's a huge, huge risk because Germany is 60% reliant on Russian gas. So they literally risk freezing. Literally, it's that bad. It's still freaking cold in Germany. So they risk freezing to protect Ukraine. I mean, if you're from Germany, I salute you. Yeah, that's crazy. Germans really came through this time like huge. Um, I agree with you, MC, that it's encouraging to see Russians protesting. But the thing is, every single one of those will get arrested, will get beaten up. Um, it's Putin doesn't really get swayed by public opinion. I mean, it's very different from what we used to seeing in Western countries. There's not a lot of, I guess, sensitivity to public opinion over there. It is what it is. Hey, Greg, what's up, buddy? Smash the like button. Good people. Thank you, Greg, for that. I appreciate it. What the finance? I don't want to be a pessimist, but do you think there's any chance Russia doesn't take full control of Ukraine? I hope to God Ukrainians can battle them off. It's just the sheer size. Look, Russia has a size advantage. They can lean on you. The amount of troops they can send over there. And by the way, just so you know, it's almost morbid, but in Russian, a troop, it's a dead body. So when I say it's really, I want to cry when I say this. He's going to, a lot of 18-year-old kids who have no idea what they're fighting for on both ends will pay with their lives. It's a very, very sad, cynical um, sacrifice that nobody needs to make. I'm just really, really shook by this that it's actually happening. 18-year-old kids. Imagine what were you doing when you were 18? Definitely not going to die in some foreign country you have no business being in. This is horrible, horrible. Um, Cassio saying Jack to the yeah, whatever, Slava Ukrainian. Slava Ukrainian, I can agree with 100%. Send Grandpa over there and end the war. Yeah, he wants to go. You kidding me? He wants to go. Obviously, he's not going, but yeah, he probably like 20 years ago he would have not asked and just went. Um, yeah, he's one hell of a guy. Um, Diary of a Pro Gamer, thank you for the 20-year donation. I really appreciate you, Tom. I know that you are very closely affected by this war because of your family and friends. It means a lot that you are taking the time of your day to still produce content. Thank you so much. Hey, thank you guys as well. I want to keep it simple today and quick. I, again, appreciate the donation. I don't want to stay on for too long. The market opens in an hour and a half. I just wanted to come on here, give you guys kind of a quick update about what's going on. I just want to give a shout out to Jordan McMorris for the $2 donation. Why isn't Gush hitting the sky right now? I don't know about Gush. I'll check it out. I do want to recap before I go. Don't super chat anymore because I'll be leaving in 5 minutes. So I don't want you to super chat and I won't get to a comment. I just want to recap real quick about the main points. So essentially, before you go, this is what you need to know. Russia economy is going through terrible turmoil. Russian ruble is dropping like a stone. ATMs are basically non-operational. Apple Pay doesn't work. Russia is now unbankable. BP is abandoning Rosneft, holding UPS, FedEx, not sending. Inflation in Russia is going to go through the roof. I'm assuming oil is going to go up because we're talking about the 10% of the market held by Russia, 40% of European gas. It's gonna be bad. It's not gonna be good for us as well. Defense and cybersecurity is gonna go up. We're seeing a spike in Palantir, for example. Again, don't know how long, don't know how volatile it's gonna be. Um, yeah, peace talks in Belarus right now. I don't know how it's gonna play out. It seems to be very pessimistic about the peace talks. Let's see how it plays out. Want to give a shout out to Tech Matt Eris. Keep up the good work. Hey, thank you, Matt. I appreciate it. Thank you all for coming by today. I want to keep it quick and to the point. I don't like these streams. They get monetized long for staying on for 2 hours. Then, I don't want to be here for money. I just want to be here for you guys. So nice and quick and just, send you off your way. Thank you, everybody, for coming on. And again, if you don't mind just dropping in the chat some kind words for our brothers in Ukraine, some words of support. Slava Ukraine, whatever you want to send these guys. Let's spread some positive energy towards Ukraine in the chat right now, and hopefully, I don't think I'll be able to. I'll try to do a market close or post market close, probably around maybe 4:30 after the market closes to give you an update about what just happened, how the day played out. I don't want to do daily streams of market. I don't want to do that. But it's kind of a special occasion because everything is going on right now in Ukraine. So I'll do that as long as we have this crisis, but then we're going back to normal content. Stay strong, everybody. Thank you for showing up. Uh, Comment below some kind words to Ukraine. Kisses and hugs. I'll see you, boys and girls, probably tonight.